bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right. Yeah, man. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Thursday, June 15th. 165 days into the new year, just 200 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet, I am your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Thursday night, Fadernight, open lines all night long. How great does life have to be? Giving you this gift every Thursday night. Fadernauts unite. Because tonight is another Fader night with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. Followed by open lines all night long. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Simple. So simple. Life is simple. Don't make it complicated. Life is so simple. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do at JChurch Radio. Everything is Fade to Black, JChurch Radio. Go follow, like, and subscribe. If you're over on the website right now, you know what to do. Go click on those three little buttons. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's right. YouTube. The sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. We don't bite. All right, come hang out with us on Twitter. Hashtag F2B. Any questions or comments during the show, use hashtag F2BQ. And if you that's for questions. That's what the Q is for, F2BQ. All right? I monitor everything in real time during the show. So there you go. All right, hashtag F2BQ. You can also email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Just make it good. All right. Wow, crazy day. Before I get to the show, I watched the cell phone video of the guy. I had his name here on the tip of my tongue. At the shootout yesterday at the GOP baseball practice. Holy crap, man! that walking his dog and those gunshots just cracking off like that. That was pretty. Ooh, man! Seriously, that was just incredible. I don't know if you've seen it, but check it out. Anyway, subscribe to our podcast. We have over 670 archive shows over there, custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. And, yeah, we call it podcast because that's what the company calls it. It's not a podcast. It's an archive of this show. Podcast is when somebody puts together a show. You know, it's a production, and and they put all of that work into it. That's not what we have. That's why it's only $2 a month. It's just an archive of this show. This show. You don't listen to it live. You can't. You're busy. You're working. Another part of the world. Another part of the United States. But you want the show, and you need the podcast format, and you need the apps and so forth. That's what it's there for. So you can listen to the show whenever you need to. And it's just $2 a month. And although it's cheap, there are, it just helps support the show. That's all it's there for. We did it. Well, that's not all it's there for. We did it for you guys because you requested it. So that's why it's there. And we tried to do it for free. We just couldn't get a podcast company to do it for free. So there you go. All right, so we got it there for $2 a month. Now, if you want to become a Fadernight and enjoy all the benefits of becoming a Fadernight, go to our membership area, totally separate from the podcast. Go to the membership area, and on the website, it's right there, membership, click on it. There's 4 ways to become a Fadernight, and from free to full tilt boogie, it's all there. And you get the bunker cam. Everybody's enjoying the bunker cam tonight. Hello, everybody. How you doing? And you get commercial-free downloadable archives. The podcast app, you can't download there. You use their player to play the archives, okay? For you Fadernauts, and we've had enough requests about that, man, we want to be able to, play it anyway. I don't want to be signed onto the net. Okay, so we get that. So now we went back and edited out, and we're still continuing to edit the older shows. I think we have like 400 or 500 archived shows up now, and we're adding to it all the time. But removed all of the commercials. And it just takes forever, by the way. It's just an editing nightmare. But we do it for you guys. So you can go back and pick out your favorite shows from the past, download them, and you get a commercial free. Or the other cool thing is you get this show the next day, because it takes a while to do production. The next day, commercial free. You can listen to this commercial free. Commercial free. Everything's out. So there you go. Okay, so you get that, and there's other things that we do. We have a giveaway. We have a drawing that we do every single month. This month, we're giving away a Life Change tea package. Last month, we gave away a coffee bar. The month before that, we gave away a Studio Dome stereo system. What did we give away the month before that? Oh, a Tascam digital recorder. I mean, cool things every single month. Throw your name in a hat. All you do is register, throw your name in a hat, and we draw it. It's simple. It's totally cool. No purchase necessary. All right? There you go. Okay, become a member today. Help support the show. Along with all of our other sponsors, Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, Studio Dome Speakers, Ancient Life Oils. We've got a new sponsor that I think is starting on Monday. Already started. We just have to cut the commercials and get some other stuff done. And that's how the show runs, is the most amazing sponsors in the world. Okay, now, today is Thursday. It's Fadernight. But in just 2 days, the day after tomorrow, I will be speaking downtown Los Angeles at the Disclosure Fest. It's the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's this Saturday, June 17th, at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles. It's a huge visit. It's like 30 acres. It's going to be packed. 2 main stages, tents, lectures, music, fun, food, things for the kids. Come on down. Totally free. All you have to do is go and register at disclosurefest.com. Just register and you get free tickets. So go and come and hang out with us. I keep saying this, I believe I'm speaking at 12:15 on the main stage. So come down and hang out with us. We're going to be hanging out all afternoon. And rumor has it the green truck is going to be there. Okay, so go and get your free tickets. Very cool event. And you never know. Mass meditation, maybe we'll have some visitors in the sky. It's going to be really cool. And then right after that, we're going to be up at East Eddy Ranch. for their Spirit and World Transformation Conference. It's a July 4th weekend up at ECETI. And if you go over to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the ECETI Ranch banner. I think it's green. It says 2017. You can't miss it. Click on that for tickets and information. You can camp there. There's, of course, there's hotels and things nearby. All of the information that you need is on the website. And come and hang out with us up at ECETI. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I just got a video, by the way, from ECETI. It's pretty incredible. I don't have permission yet to post it out there. But once they get it up on their side, I'll post it. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Whole fleet full of stuff in the sky. And I do mean fleet, by the way. All right. Let's see. Where am I at? ECETI. Oh, so this month and throughout July, and I think, next weekend, I will be over at Coast to Coast AM for the weekend, hosting over there. So come and do that. And then throughout the month of July, too, as well. As soon as we get back from ECETI Ranch, be over at Coast to Coast. And it's going to be busy. It's going to be a busy summer. And there's nothing like having fun and spreading the knowledge. So there you go. We are completely slammed through the end of August. Let's get this show cracking. Are you ready? Happy birthday to today. Ice Cube is 48 years old. And for those who were hanging out before the show in the bunker cam, I just jammed Death Certificate today. Just sitting in the bunker working and just cranked it. Man. It is, forget about rap. Forget about that. It is just, it's one of the great albums of all time. It's right there. It's right there with Black Sabbath Sabotage. It's right there with Led Zeppelin 4. It's right there with Van Halen 2, not 1. Van Halen 2. It's that good. Death Certificate. Happy birthday, Ice Cube. I can't believe he's only 48. Jim Belushi today is 63, and he will always make the cut because he starred in the UFO documentary Real Men. One of the great UFO documentaries of all time. Neil Patrick Harris today is 44, played Doogie Howser, right? Hosted the Academy Awards a couple of years ago. Neil Patrick Harris. What was that? Harold and Kumar go to White Castle? That's Neil Patrick Harris. All right. Our dead guy's birthday today is Waylon Jennings, 1937 to 2002. Died at the age of 64. One of the great musicians and songwriters of all time. I say that a lot. I've just said that 3 times at the beginning of this show. How could everybody be great? That's, if something influences me, what has made me me, I like to talk about it. Waylon Jennings is one of those cats. That guy was a songwriter. Songwriter. There are people out there that write songs, right? And they're good. They're good. And they say to themselves, I wish I could write like Waylon Jennings. He was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2001, and then posthumously he was given a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Nashville Songwriters Festival in 2007. On February 13th in 2002, Waylon died in his sleep of diabetic complications in Chandler, Arizona. He was buried in Mesa. On this day in history, in 1215, OTD, Magna Carta, is sealed by King John. That's right. Put the seal on it, the King John seal. Magna Carta, 1215. Fader fact. This is a fact. It's a fact right here. And it's been vetted. In 1956, the United States exploded atomic bombs near a few beers. That's right. Beer. They did it to see if they would be safe to drink. They were. my cousin Vinny. They were. They were safe to drink. All right, tonight's another Fader Night with Jon Rappoport, and there's no more fake newsroom live, followed by open lines all night long. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how life works. See, you're on your deathbed, and you got like 24 hours to live, and then it's over. Right? You're on your deathbed, and someone asks you, would you have done anything different? And you start thinking to yourself, asking, when did I waste time? I wish I could get it back. And you start thinking to yourself, because you would do anything for one more day. You would do anything for one more week because it's over. And you start contemplating, what was a total waste of precious minutes of life? Let me tell you how it works. Now that you've got that burden into your brain, think about that for a second. Let me tell you how life works. You're swimming in a pool, in the water. You're swimming underneath the water, and you're just trying to pull your way through. And you're held back. It's hard. It's swimming. It's hard. And you're holding, and then you try to make it up to the surface. And you're holding your breath, and you're trying to just pulling the water through. And you break through. You break through, and you breathe that air. Sunlight on your face. That's life. Life is hard. It doesn't have to be. And you get out of the pool, and now you can walk around, and you don't have the restrictions of the water pulling on you, and you can move. You've got the sunlight beating down on you, and it's and you're breathing the crisp air. Your mom comes up and gives you a towel because you're shivering a little bit, right? That's life. That's life. Why hold yourself down? Why hold yourself back? You don't want to be pulled. You don't want that. You want the freedom. You want the sun beating down on your face. See, if you make it to 70, and that is, if you make it to 70, that's 25,550 days on this planet. That's it. So why would you go and waste time doing something negative? Because if you go back and you're on that deathbed, and you're thinking, man, I spent 50 hours fighting with somebody. I spent 50 hours wasting time on negative stuff. I spent 50 hours, a day, a week's worth of time that you can never get back. You can't get it back. Which brings me to the show last night. Precious minutes last night that you spent with us. And I have to thank Drew. I have to thank Drew for making sure that this thing launched last night. We had so many people at the front of the show on the website and the danger of crashing things. I have to thank Drew. He was there for us last night. No precious minutes wasted there. I'm thankful for that. When building up the lineup for this show, we had chosen 10 of the best, experts and researchers and from the UFO community, the media outlets, the authors, leaders, right? We chose them because of their not only respect throughout the community, but that they would be honest. Last night's show, unscripted. We asked the same question of everybody, but nobody knew that question was coming. No, nothing scripted. All the answers were honest. Some were personal, some were professional, some were, but you got honesty last night. And the one thing that I came away from the show last night after we were all done is that wasn't a waste of time. It was not a waste of my time or yours. The one thing that was across the board with everybody last night, which is the message that I got loud and clear: don't waste your time with negative stuff. Don't do it. Hold you back. It's a waste of your time. Spend your time on doing something positive. Something positive. Whatever it may be. Reading a book. You're on your deathbed and you want positive minutes back. How would you spend it? You would probably laying in that deathbed going, you know what? I would do anything for another day of drinking an ice cold margarita, lying on the beach, reading a book and learning something. But spending time doing negative stuff, right? And when you go and you ask every guest the same question over and over again, and you get that same feeling and response back, what makes them successful? What makes them such a positive impact on our community is that they are not negative. They're not. None of them. Now think about that for a second. I really feel that the UFO community is thriving. I feel that we will always have our conflicts or controversies because it's good. When I said last night after the show, and I tweeted out, I said, look, if you can't talk here, you can't talk anywhere. And I if you remember, and you go back, I was talking about Ice Cube today. If you go back and watch the movie Friday, you remember that? And Cedric, the entertainer, he says, if you can't talk here, this is a barbershop. And if you can't talk here, you can't talk anywhere. You remember that? That's exactly right. Let's fight about it. But if you can't talk here, we can argue about it. But if you can't talk here, if somebody cannot call into this show and express their experiences without the fear of being ridiculed or attacked by you, the audience, or by me, or later on, who would want to go and see in the archives or see comments or the next day and, about some guy that called in or some lady that called in the night before? Who would want that? You cannot do that here. There is no negativity in my life. It doesn't exist. I don't have time for it. There are forums out there. I know that they're out there. Why? Look, I'm speaking from experience. I'm not being a hypocrite. I used to, years and years and years ago, I used to spend time on those forums. Would go there and I'd read the negativity and I would get my blood all boiling and I would just, and I have not been to a forum or clicked on a link or have done anything negative in years. It's so far behind me. It is the gum on the bottom of my shoe. And if you have done it, if I can save one person right now, one of you that has gone to one of those forums or saw some ridiculous, stupid YouTube video of somebody spewing hate, then I've succeeded. Because once you break free of that, it's amazing. Once you break free, you're like when you bust out of the pool and you take that breath of air and you step out and you walk. That's what it's like. I have no clue. I have not done. It's amazing because that stuff holds you back. It's the weight of that water when you're swimming. And that's what this show is about. It is about positivity. Break free. Bust out into the light and don't have that negative stuff holding you down. Just don't do it. I know that there's somebody right here, right now, listening to my voice, a Fadernight, that I know, that I would know their name, that I have broken bread with and drank with, that has this week, yesterday, this morning, gone out and read negative stuff on the net, participated and commented and went to a forum and posted and went and watched another video and got all inflamed. And you know what? You can't get that time back. You can't get that time back. Why waste it? And that's what last night's show was for me. For me. Everybody that I brought on the show last night, everybody that I talked to, all of the researchers this week, it was a ton of people. Really, honestly, knew that there was some negative things out there, but didn't care about it. They didn't want to. They was like, dude, I don't waste my time with that stuff. I heard some things, but I don't click on links. I don't know. I don't go to those forums. I don't do that. It's a waste of time. Precious time. So you got 25,000 days on this planet. 25,000 days. And you want to spend 5, 6, 7, 8 days of your life or a month of your life reading crap and being negative and having to pull you down? That's on you. You can't get that time back. And one day you will wish that you could. That it was a total waste, man. A total waste. Anybody out there that wants to come back at me and send me an email going, dude, man, but you don't get it, man. You don't get it. We need to. No, you don't need to do anything. Nothing negative is changing your life. What, are you're Superman now? You're Superwoman? No. You're not doing anything by sharing this stuff, by posting a negative thing. All you are doing is participating in negativity. You are a willing participant, and that is the truth. So don't come for me for negative stuff. It ain't never going to happen. That's why I walk around with a beam of light over my head, casting down on me because I feel great. Go listen to Death Certificate. That's what you should do. All right? Now, I'm going to get out of here because I got the one and only Jon Rappoport coming in here. That's right. Another breath of fresh air. This is Fade to Black. It's Fadernight, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Opening up the phone lines right after Jon Rappoport. He's in the batter's box, and I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply, and of course the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day. A new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to be here, everybody. Once again. So tonight we will be talking about infiltration of agents. It's basically a simple concept. One organization wants to put its agents inside another organization for various reasons. To find out information, espionage, to influence that other organization in some way. Those are the basic elements, if necessary, to create confusion in that second organization. But here we're talking about the CIA, and here we're talking about so-called mainstream journalism and the history behind all of that, which is sometimes called Operation Mockingbird, which was a project that was begun apparently in the early 1950s. There is some debate about whether how big Mockingbird itself was and what should be called Mockingbird and what shouldn't be, etc. But basically, we're looking at the whole range of CIA infiltration. So I'm going to go back in history a little bit here, and then I'm also going to talk about my own experience in interviewing off-the-record reporters, editors, and a very talented propaganda operative. So we begin with the April 1976 report of the so-called Church Committee, which was a Senate committee that was brought into being to investigate the CIA. Actually, the committee existed, but the investigation was new. And I want to read a couple of quotes from the final report of the Church Committee in 1976. First, on the subject of foreign media. The CIA currently maintains a network of several hundred foreign individuals around the world who provide intelligence for the CIA and at times attempt to influence opinion through the use of covert propaganda. These individuals provide the CIA with direct access to a large number of newspapers and periodicals, scores of press services and news agencies, radio and television stations, commercial book publishers, and other foreign media outlets. That's quite a mouthful. Then we have what the Church Committee is reporting about domestic media inside the U.S. Approximately 50 of the agency assets are individual American journalists or employees of U.S. media organizations. And then it goes on to talk about the difference between those that are accredited or freelancers, et cetera, et cetera. More than a dozen U.S. news organizations and commercial publishing houses formerly provided cover for CIA agents abroad. That's also rather startling, and I would say an underestimate of the number of assets deployed. Then, of course, we have in October 1977, Carl Bernstein of Woodward and Bernstein Watergate fame wrote an article in Rolling Stone which stated that the Church Committee report actually was covering up and concealing the extent of the CIA connections with news media. And he goes on to list a number of journalists he says worked actually for the CIA. Okay. Now I want to quote a piece by James Corbett of the Corbett Report. James is a fine journalist. The ties between the intelligence community and the news organizations were formalized at the highest levels of management and ownership and included, according to Carl Bernstein, cooperation with media tycoons like Arthur Hayes Sulzberger of the New York Times, Henry Luce of Time Inc., and William Paley of CBS. These were tycoons, folks. These are not reporters, in case you're unaware. They were publishers. Continuing, towards the end of his career, Sig Mickelson, the head of CBS News in the 1950s, and the man credited with launching the career of, quote, the most trusted man in America, Walter Cronkite, admitted that CBS News worked closely with the CIA. In the 1980s, for instance, a story about Russian MiGs being delivered to Nicaragua appeared on the front page of the New York Times. As CIA analyst turned whistleblower David McMichael later revealed, this had been completely made up, but was reported as fact as a way of manipulating public opinion to support U.S. intervention in the region. For example, in Nicaragua, because, Russian MiGs were delivered to Nicaragua. Here's another example. In an infamous story from the 1970s revealed by CIA whistleblower John Stockwell, a story about rapes committed by Cuban soldiers in Angola, which was widely reported around the world, had in fact been completely made up by CIA assets in the press. Similarly, in Libya, shortly after Obama admitted the presence of covert operatives on the ground in Libya, identified as CIA agents by the New York Times, with the admitted goal of destabilizing the Gaddafi government, a story surfaced about Gaddafi's troops that was immediately picked up and reported unquestioningly by nearly every news outlet in the world, that Gaddafi had supplied his troops with Viagra to encourage them to rape their fellow Libyans. It was later admitted that there was in fact no evidence whatsoever to back up these assertions, But that news was not heralded with anything near the same attention that the original accusations had garnered. Getting the picture here, folks? CIA assets planted inside news media. CIA assets able to control stories in media, spread stories in media, decide which stories should be spread in media. Infiltration, it's called. Infiltration. Now, what is the purpose behind this? Well, obviously, it is to control the narrative of our time. That's what it's all about. Who tells the narrative of our time? The press, the mainstream press. Print news, television news, radio news, all manner of news. And in order to control that narrative, the CIA early on realized that it needed to infiltrate the media in a big-time way. And it wasn't just to protect itself. No, the CIA had much greater ambitions. They could see that it might be possible to actually position themselves at crucial junctures in the narration of political events of our time, for example, and shape an actual world view that would be broadcast by the press to the people. Now we're talking about some very serious infiltration, which of course leads to widespread disinformation. And you have people picking up these stories, believing them. Some people who pick them up believe them and use them to forward certain biases and agendas that they have. Other people use these stories to criticize and attack their opponents. All of this can be plotted out and charted out and blueprinted and predicted with varying degrees of accuracy by the CIA, such as, well, if we launch this story, who's going to use it and for what purpose? And do we want them to do that? Because if we do, then let's go ahead. Who will they use this story to criticize or attack? What group? What political party, for example? Do we want them to do that? If we do, let's go ahead with the story. Let's refine our ability to predict the consequences of the stories that we plant in the press through our infiltration of media. And in being able to predict more accurately what's going to happen, we can start a whole chain reaction of events based upon fake stories, half-true stories, what's called limited hangouts, where scandals are averted by admitting to a small piece of a scandal, at which point hopefully the whole thing goes away and everybody's more or less satisfied. These are what infiltrators do. These actions are the actions of infiltration, to spread false information that then takes on a life of its own, so to speak. Now, over the last, well, really 35 years on and off, as a reporter, I have had many conversations with reporters, mainstream reporters, and editors off the record. And one of the purposes of those conversations was to elicit information from reporters about the landscape of major media. And at times I was able to broach the subject of the CIA and its influence. And so what I'm going to tell you now is basically what I put together as a kind of basic summary of what I learned over the years from many different reporters in these off-the-record conversations. First of all, number one, CIA assets are indeed in place as infiltrators in media all the way up to today. These assets would be employed for several purposes. They could be longtime journalists, they could be fairly new journalists, they could be whatever. But they are used consciously, and the journalists are aware that they are in fact CIA assets. They are working on behalf of the CIA. These assets can guide other reporters, steer them towards some stories and away from other stories. They can take on the role of a mentor, for example. You know, the veteran, experienced reporter who is kind of showing the ropes to young reporters, how the game is played, how to advance your career. If you've got a story that you have a question about, come to me. If you're not sure whether this is a story, come to me. If you wonder whether or not it's going to be good for your career to look into this story or that story, come to me. Can wield a tremendous amount of influence in that regard, as well as directly planting false disinformation in the press. CIA assets. That's one category. The second category would be reporters who are easily used by the CIA without being conscious assets. In other words, reporters who tend to take whatever the CIA feeds them and regurgitate it. Passive assets, you might call them. They're not actively operating on behalf of the CIA, but the CIA knows who they are. Oh, let's feed this story to so-and-so, because we know that he takes whatever we give him and he reports it. So that's a good thing for us. And sometimes when we want him to, he will just simply call us a government official who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Blah, 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 blah. Or if we want him to identify us as spokespeople or spokesman for the CIA, he'll do that too. But basically, he will take our information and use it without inspecting it, without looking it over, without trying to verify it from any other source. He'll just go with it. That's the second category. And the third category is a reporter who, while not a conscious asset of the CIA, works actively to cultivate CIA sources because he knows that they can provide him with information. And the CIA recognizes these reporters. You know, we keep getting queries and calls from so-and-so and such reporter for so-and-so newspaper. Let's keep this guy in mind because we can cultivate him. We can use him in a variety of ways because he is now beholden to us at the CIA because we give him information that he uses. So now we can feed him stories and we can give him the kind of information that we want to put into the press. And keep in mind that the vast majority of the information we're talking about is false. It's disinformation. And it is created through these various methods of infiltration into media. Now, of course, I'm not saying that without this infiltration, media would be pure as the driven snow, because, of course, they wouldn't be, for various reasons that I've described at length here on the show and in other places for many years. But this kind of infiltration by the CIA is vital to the CIA's agenda, to controlling the narrative. What does this do to the public? What it does is it steers their perception in the direction that the CIA and other intelligence agencies want it to be steered. What does it do to researchers and investigators, independent researchers and investigators? We have to be much more careful in the kind of information that we use from major media, much more circumspect about the whole thing. Because if we use, for example, a piece of disinformation that's appeared in a major story in the mainstream press, if we use it as a building block in a larger story that we're putting together, well, the whole thing could eventually fall apart, and that's if we notice it later. If we don't, we could be steered down any number of wrong turns in the road. So for researchers and investigators who are independent, one has to keep an eye out for this kind of disinformation. And how one does that, there's not enough time here to really go into all of the methods, so to speak, of how one does that. But the simplest thing to start with is a CIA source quoted in a story and identified as a CIA source, either by name or just by that label? If so, watch out. If so, watch out. Is the story based on a government official who spoke on the condition of anonymity? That's also a red flag. Because who is that government official? Can we sort of tell from the story what agency or department or legislative group that person is probably from, or is it more vague? You have to watch out for that, because in that case as well, it could be talking about somebody from the CIA. So these are just a couple of the beginning steps of trying to vet this information. But in my experience of many moons as a reporter, I can tell you it's absolutely, the news business is absolutely infiltrated to the hilt. And it's not just the CIA, but it is certainly the CIA. It's infiltrated with people who want to steer you down the wrong street, to make you think you know something is true when it's false, to make you think that you just learned something important when it's false, to give you a reason or a motive for an event happening when, yes, the event happened, but the reason that you're being given is absolutely false. That, I would say, is a favorite ploy. We're not going to try to deny that something happened, but what we're going to do is cover up the actual reason that it happened and present a false reason instead, or attribute the event to a person who really had nothing to do with it and blame it on somebody else. Avoid blaming it on somebody else who we know actually did bring about this event. Okay, so those are a few of the clues. And keep your eye open because, as I say, infiltration is a fact of life. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Jimmy.
John, man. So much for spreading rainbows tonight, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, and there, you mentioned right at the front of that, and it sticks out for me like a sore thumb, which is the infamous, I'm going to say it's infamous, the Church Commission. Mm-hmm. And I've had many people come up to me over the years and go, dude, man, were you part of that, man? Was your family? Look. I don't know if he's related, right? I've heard rumors that, somewhere in the, how common is the last name Church, right?
Right.
But the way that went down, when the rumors about it were surfacing and he got the commission together and they went and, per instructions, destroyed, tens of thousands of documents all across the country, right? Shred. And I don't know what the number is. I think you do, but like 200 or so documents survived the mass shredding of MK Ultra, right, across the country. But
that was the mind control program, yes.
Yeah.
And actually the CIA, Helms, the head of the CIA, ordered those documents to be destroyed immediately.
Yes, it's a fascinating part of American history. It really went down. MK Ultra was real.
And so is this.
Yes.
Mockingbird.
Mockingbird. I don't know what name they operate under today, but especially with the internet, how easy it is now to fund that type. You don't have to necessarily have boots on the ground or a reporter sitting in staff at a newspaper. You could just crank this stuff out on the internet now, today, cheaply, in mass. So that's it. You've got to keep your eyes open. How do you figure it out? You're absolutely right. We should actually continue to pursue that. I really like that frame of mind. John, thank you so much for just being balanced and even keel on all of these subjects. Thank you so much. And again, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week right here on the show.
Thank you so much, Jimmy.
You're the best. John Rappoport, everybody. Like I say, every Thursday night, start off your day at nomorefakenews.com. He's had that website for 20 years. He had fake news on the front for 20 years. Think about that. All right, opening up the phone lines right now. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. This is Fade to Black, Fadernight. Open lines are next. Stay here.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Nothing but light bursting out of the pool. Breath of fresh air. Tonight's Fadernight, open lines all night long. I want to thank Jon Rappoport for coming in. Again, nomorefakenewsroom.com. Start off your day right there every single day. Phone lines are open, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. If you're on hold, stay right there. We'll get to everybody. Again, 323-825-5045, 323-275-9695. And there you go. Okay, I've got some phone calls lined up already. I wanted to go back and mention one thing as we kick off the show tonight. Information as the most precious commodity that we have, and how it could be controlled by distraction when it can no longer be hidden. That's one of the most important points that we can always drive home here, because the digitally, virtually dependent world is the UFO community. And Fade to Black exists because of the web platform and the internet. Yes, we're big and we're on networks and we're syndicated and we've got all that stuff going on, but it all exists. The entire world right now runs on the internet, right? And we cannot ever ignore that. And it's also the same platform that helped bring down mass media last year, because the prevalence of fake news out there and how that went across and just affected everybody's mood and emotions around the world, that we're getting sucked into that, right? And then it allowed the world to step back and go, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. What is going on? Now the mass media is quoting fake news, and now that's getting out there. It's getting into radio and the mainstream, and it's getting tweeted, and it's on Facebook and social media, and it's just out there. And we don't know what to trust anymore, right? So we have this like hypocrisy going on. But the one thing that is beautiful about the internet is that it has given a platform for so many people to share their ideas and to get out there. I love the fact that bands, because I produced and was part of, I produced music and wrote music, and I know what a struggle it was before the internet for bands to make music and to get a record deal and to get their self heard. Today, You can go and record and get you don't need a big recording studio. You can do stuff at home, get yourself a Pro Tools rig and record your band, throw it out there, get it, make your own videos, put it on YouTube and iTunes and you don't need a record deal anymore. That's one of the joys of the internet. If you think you're funny and you want to write a sitcom or make a television series, you don't need television anymore. You don't. You can go and do it yourself. Get a video camera, get some video editing software, boom, get it up, get it out there on the net, throw it up on YouTube, and you don't need and if it's good, right? If it's good, you've got a website, you're going to attract, and you can get out there and get recognized and make it happen. If you're an author, book publishing, all of that now is available because of the internet, the freedom of sharing ideas. So we have the both. But with that, you're going to have the negative stuff out there too as well, because it allows a platform for anybody out there to post negative stuff. And that negative stuff influences people. And crazy things can happen, because of that. Think about that. With all great freedoms out there, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of this, the things that made this country great is also a dangerous area to go into as well. It's really, really funny how it goes both ways. All right. So we will always, with this show, we will always, always, always try to be as positive as we can. I do not want to have something negative happen because of this show and somebody comes back at me and goes, man, did you hear what just happened? This just happened because somebody listened to you and, oh man, no way. I will never participate in that. And again, it's part of that discernment thing. Discernment, just like disclosure, the other D word, discernment. Use caution. Use caution. There was no discernment last year when it came to fake news. People posting whatever, just posting, going crazy, and with absolutely zero care of any implications of how it could go down. So use discernment. Really, my discernment, I just don't ever click on a link. I don't ever. I go and search for stuff. Somebody sends me a link, don't do it. I don't. I haven't clicked on a link inside of an email or a post or Facebook or Twitter. Clicked on a link. Just absolutely clicked on a link. I have not done that in, 5 years. Maybe longer. I've never done it. Don't do it. I just don't do it. I don't know what's on the other side of that link. I don't know what's about to pop up. I don't know what's going to burn into my eyeballs. I don't know what's that. I go and search for knowledge, and when I go, this is the truth. When I go out and I'm surfing around YouTube and I want to find something cool to see, I'm looking for ancient Egypt documentaries. I'm looking for ancient South America documentaries, Machu Picchu, stuff in, that's what I do. That's what I literally do. I don't go and look for news or look for or this and that. I don't do. It's a waste of time. It's a total 100% waste of time. I need to learn something. I need something to answer those questions of the great mysteries of life. That's what I do. That's what I do. The fear of wasting time is one of my things, and I want that to stick with you. I had a teacher one time. This was like in 8th grade. I'll never forget this guy. And he said, "You know what my biggest fear in life is? My biggest fear in life is I'm driving down the road and the guy in front of me, approaching me in his car, crosses the double yellow line and hits me head on, and I can't control that. That's my biggest fear in life," right? I never forgot that. You know, not that I am afraid of that today. What I'm saying is that was his thing, you know, and my biggest fear in life at this point is getting to the end and wasting time. What did I waste time on? What did I waste time on? Time is so precious. Time is something you have no control over. You can't stop it. You can't go back. You can't go forward. That's my fear. That's my fear. I don't ever want to have any regrets. I want to just constantly improve myself and have fun and be happy and have no regrets. All right. With that, I've kept everybody on hold long enough. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Would that be me?
Yeah, that'd be you. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Mike up in Washington State. I'm the guy that sent you an email quite a few months ago regarding that barbell object up in the sky that my wife and I saw.
Yes. Was that the one that they were talking about last night on the show? Peter Davenport?
No, but that's why I'm calling, because I heard your program. I get up pretty early, Jim. I get up at 3 in the morning, and so I listen to you on your website at work.
Right. You're not the only
show. I love your show.
You're not the only one, Mike, okay? People listening to me at work.
Yeah, I mean, you help my day. You're awesome, man. That's all I can say. I'm a little nervous here. My wife and I, it's this thing. We first started seeing these 5 orange orbs up in the sky. It's in Spokane, Washington.
Right.
And the first 3, they were like in a zigzag, all of them actually, in a zigzag type formation, but just moving slowly. And then the first 3 started separating, and if you were to draw a line from dot to dot to dot on the first 3, it turned into like this triangle shape. And the other 2 that were behind just kind of faded backwards. Well, eventually the 3, it was pretty, I can't tell you how high it was, because at nighttime it's hard to get the depth, you know, of the night sky of how high it was.
Right.
But it was pretty high up there. But anyways, they faded off. The 4th one started moving off. The 5th one now darted it was quick, and then faded back to the north. But the first 4 went kind of southward. So anyways, and I hate to admit this, but I'm a cigarette smoker. My wife and I, that's why we were outside.
Mm-hmm.
And came in after that was all done, and this urge, it was like, go back outside. So about 10 minutes at the most, I went back outside. The wife came with me, and this barbell, you know those 2-pound barbells where they're round on each end?
Right.
Picture one of those, but like an orangish copper gold look. It was so clear, though. I mean, but the night reflecting on it, because there was no moonlight. I have to go with what the nighttime was.
Right.
But it was like, it was put together well. There was no wings. There was no engines, unless on the shaft part, I even sent you a picture, just a quick sketch. I think it was through Facebook that I sent it to you a while back ago. But it had these wavy lines going halfway up the shaft part between the 2 barbells. And the direction it was heading, it was going from a north to a south. Like it was, because Canada's not too far away, that's why I'm calling in, because when I heard that on last night's program, I was like, okay, that's weird that he saw it up in Canada, because this thing came from the north and going south. It was like a north, just north going south. I wanted to say like a northeast, but we're talking, that was in October of 2013, so it's hard to remember complete details of exact moment and time. But it was after 6 p.m., I know that. And this thing, there was no writing on it, nothing, but there was a little black slit, like a window, at the very top of the front part of the bar on the ball. And on the shaft, these wavy lines, like they were, picture the letter U, upside down, the normal, upside down, they were all connected, like it was within the metal, not on the outside, but within the metal.
Right.
And they were diagonally, but only halfway up. They were kind of like they were shaped diagonally, like it was in the direction of the way it was flying. We had a complete front view, underneath view, side view, back view. There was nothing, Jim. This thing, being that it was like a copperish, orange, gold, whatever look.
Right.
The inside those wavy lines was like a beige. Yeah, I mean, it was totally different than the actual color of the barbell.
Right.
Like that was its energy. And that it just saw it for about 6 seconds. I wish I would have grabbed my phone, to be honest. I didn't. I was too much in shock, just in awe looking at it. Because I've never seen anything like that. And I've worked on airplanes. I mean, I used to work for Boeing out in Everett, so up there in Washington. This thing had its own, it was fascinating. I mean,
I'm looking at our staff here, Rita and others, just went back into the archives and pulled that up. And it was kind of funny because I went through the Facebook stuff. I just want you to understand, Mike, there is literally 1,000 or 2,000 messages just in the last month.
I understand.
Okay, so it's just it's nuts. But anyway, they just pulled it up and sent it in here to me. I remember now when they sent it to me back when you originally sent it in. I was totally fascinated with this. I'm looking at the drawing. So, and you described it pretty good, but let me take a crack at it, okay, for the audience so they can understand. When he is saying barbell, yes, is the right way to describe it, but it's two balls. It's not flat disc with a handle in the middle. It's not like that, with the disc that you put on a barbell. It's two round balls on both ends with the tube connecting in the middle. And the U shapes that he's talking about are almost like you would have finger grips, so that the U shape would fit in between your fingers. We've seen all those, like on bicycle grips, right? It's like that. And the U, the bicycle grip part would be pointing towards the ground. And so that's the U shapes. It's not, the U shapes are not inscribed or drawn. No, it's the actual shape of the tube that is connecting the two balls. Now with that, it's a fascinating sighting. It is the same sighting that Peter Davenport was talking about last night. That's way beyond coincidence. Okay, so let's make that connection here. And I do think you should.
See, and that made me feel like, okay, see, I'm telling the truth.
Right.
Somebody else saw it.
Right.
It just proved my point.
I know. Fascinating. You should contact Peter and tell him that you heard him on Fade to Black, and you sent me the information, and send everything that you got to Peter so he could put it in the database, because other people may have seen the same thing, and now they've seen that other people have seen it. Boom, and then maybe we could get a tracking on this and when it was seen. Maybe it's been seen in other places too. But Mike, let me ask you this question, because again, the drawing is unbelievable. How big from end to end, from the outside of one ball to the outside of the other ball, what are we looking at here?
Well, Jimmy, being nighttime, I'm estimating it was about 200, maybe 300 feet high from where I was. I would have to say, if you were to put, say, 2 jet fighters together.
Okay, so maybe
about that.
Okay, so maybe 100 feet. 100 feet across. 2 jet fighters being 50 feet each, right? And 50 feet's not very big.
I'd say close to it, but it's hard to get a depth perception.
Sure. Okay, but this is where I'm going with this, Mike. Stay with me. So if we're looking at roughly 100 feet across, then each one of those balls would have been about 25 or 30 feet in diameter, right? Safe guess?
Yeah.
So
or bigger.
Big enough for people to be in, or pilots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, on one end
because
of the drawing, that's where I'm going.
Was like a little slit.
Right. That's where I'm going. Say, I need to describe this for the audience. Always remember, we're painting a picture for them. Okay. And you're doing really good. So now, at the end of, and in his drawing, it would be the right side. He's got it drawing at an angle. It's an excellent drawing, by the way. So up at the top, there's a slit in the front, which is a window. It looks to me like it's a window, and it looked like a window to you, right?
Yes.
The cockpit, if you will.
Yes.
Was it traveling in that direction? Like if that is the front where the window is, so was it moving in that direction, or was it stationary?
It was moving in that direction. Where that window is, that was the. Yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd say that's the front of it.
Right.
And it was going southward.
Right. So that window was pointing south.
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
Man. And did it make any sound?
No, it was silent. That thing had, when Peter Davenport was talking last night, he said this guy felt waves from it.
Right. Did you?
We didn't know, but it's just like the only thing I felt was like an urge, like something was, I know this is going to sound stupid, like something was, I had to go outside. I had to go outside. And there it was. I mean, it maybe like just a few seconds after we were out there.
Right.
But it's hard to explain. It was like I knew, or I can't even say that, because it was just so surreal.
Right. Right.
You know, and then if you saw, it was so well put together that if it's our militaries, I don't care what these other countries have.
They lose.
if this is ours,
right.
There's nothing that's going to compete. I mean, with what we got. But if it's not ours, then what's that saying? You know,
you don't.
We saw it.
You don't mind.
My wife even liked.
Mike, you don't mind. We've put this up in Twitter for everybody to see.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just, like I said, I'm a little nervous and I'm getting excited on this, but it was a heck of a sighting. I also sent Rita and you. I saw something else at 4 a.m. Just a few. My wife and I see weird things, so I don't know if it's like we're being picked on or what, but. And I haven't been sleeping too great, anyways. But the other morning, went out and I live in an apartment. Okay, so I saw this thing going across the sky, decent speed. I thought it was a satellite at first, going across the sky. Then it kind of zigged to the right, then zigged to the left, and stopped. What the heck stops in mid-flight?
Right.
And then it left and it took off again. But this one was pretty high up there. So I couldn't really see details. It was just like a kind of a V shape, but it was weird.
Yeah, this sighting is this barbell. You need to get a hold of Peter. Peter's easy to get a hold of, and just go to his website, National UFO Reporting Center. Look up Peter Davenport, Google it, and just call him and talk to him and tell him that you heard him on Fade to Black, and he'll know. Obviously, this is a pretty famous sighting right now, but the fact that you documented it with us, I have or we have everything from when you sent it in to us, and that's fascinating to me, and it helps when people
to move on. I sent the story to MUFON like a day or two later on their website, but I did it, like I said, I was kind of nervous about it. I did it to where it wasn't open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bunch of stuff you fill out.
Right.
So they got it, but it's to where it's anonymous. But I got brave, and that's why I'm calling you and notified you.
Right.
So I don't know. It's weird, Jimmy. It's played an effect on our lives. It's crazy dreams.
I know it's a life-changing thing when you see something in the sky for the first time, and when that happens. Look, Mike. Somebody just tweeted, "Hey man, don't feel like it sounds stupid. If you can't say it here, you can't say it anywhere," which is exactly right. Always be comfortable. Don't be nervous. You need to talk about stuff like this. And when you first sent it in, and everybody forwarded the stuff to me, I sat here and stared at it forever and read your account of it, and it's absolutely incredible. Now it's when synchronicity hits, right? Peter Davenport on the show last night talking about this sighting. You're calling in today. I remember all of this is happening for a reason. Okay, and you're part of this community, Mike. So it's all good, brother. It's all good.
Yeah.
Get a hold
of somebody else came forth. I felt like a nutcase,
Don't feel that way. That's exactly why this show is here. All right. Hey, Mike, I gotta head to a commercial break, but please do me a favor. And do yourself a favor. Get a hold of Peter and take this thing to the next level, okay?
All right. Thank you, Jim, for talking with me.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. And give my best to your wife. It's all good.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Fade to Black. Thank you, Mike, for that. All the images are posted up in Twitter. There you go. This is Fade to Black, open lines all night long. 323-825-5045, 323-275-9695. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
So I get out of the shower this morning. I'm looking in the mirror, and not to brag, but my beach body is coming back. I'm not fearing shorts and bathing suits this summer. And thanks to naturesyouth.com, I'm here to help you too. The anti-aging experts, Nature's Youth RSF, they've developed an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports my body to naturally increase HGH levels without synthetic hormones. You see, HGH, or human growth hormone, it's produced by the pituitary gland, and it's essential for growth and regeneration of my cells and tissues. Elevated HGH levels can contribute to not only increasing my energy, improving my libido, and reducing my body fat, but overall improving my exercise capacity. Now, just by watching what I eat, doing a little exercise, and taking my daily dose of Nature's Youth RSF, I'm in a swimsuit, and I'm happy to be there. My beach body is back. I want you to get yours. Join me today and look better and less with help from Nature's Youth. It's easy. Go to naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com. And bring on the sunshine.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. It's Fadernight. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Pretty good sighting there from Mike. And I did check that out when he had first sent it in. And it seems like it was about 3 months ago. That's what he said. But absolutely fascinating. And so, with his permission, we have put everything up there on Twitter, and just check it out. It's a pretty fascinating site. And now, I think you can. I was trying to describe that as finger grips. You know, like you can kind of cop a vibe with the U shape. I really appreciate the drawing. The drawing is done really good, but that window up front is telling about the size of this object overall. And that's what I was thinking. It was bigger than 100 feet. But again, it's at night. His description of it being copper is an interesting one. And also his initial impression of this just being so well built. Now, that sounds simple, right? But when you see something like that, and that's what you come away with, that is pretty fascinating. And there you go. So it's up there on Twitter. Go check it out. Thank you for that, Mike. And do get a hold of Peter Davenport. It is just fascinating that Peter was on the show last night talking about it. All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Yeah, am I on?
Yeah, you're live. Who's calling?
This is Pat from Sun Valley.
Pat from Sun Valley. What Sun?
I've called before.
Okay, Sun Valley here in Southern California?
Yeah, right next door, man.
Yeah, totally. Right up the hill, man. Right, literally up the hill from us. How you doing, Pat? What's going on? What's on your mind?
I'm doing great. Thank you for your show every night. It's just cracking. Every night it's awesome. Enjoy it very much. And I'm just calling to let you know that I've been witnessing some UFO crafts over in Sun Valley. And it's very I don't even have to get out of my house. It's just I can sit in my room and just use my binoculars.
Right.
And so the first sighting was October 31st of last year.
Right.
And there's an art center next door, and this Mayan drum beat started playing, and then before the sun came down, and then this was located next to the was it the sun? Yeah, it was the sun. And there's this bright light, and then I'm like looking at it, and this is the only bright light, and it's a clear, beautiful day.
Right.
Sorry, it's November 1st, not October 31st. November 1st. It was towards the afternoon, evening time. And then I just check it out with my binoculars, and then and it's basically 5 windows. And the center window is very bright, and then the side ones are dim. And the windows look like it's exactly like the ones from the U.S. Capitol building. On the top, the small ones.
Right.
On the top.
Right.
It's just like those. And then it just stays there, and I'm just like watching it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I noticed also the time is not moving. When next door when that beat when the drum beat and all that stuff is going on,
right?
And with the cultural stuff, and this thing just comes out of nowhere, and then it appears before the music starts, and then it's just unbelievable, and then basically I don't know if it was that night or it was some other night, but 5 triangular shapes came out of nowhere. When I was watching it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they're just like blinking, like you said, and just going back and forth like triangular.
Right.
And then I noticed all of them just started lining up, and they're like near the 101 and the 405 and the 170 area. That's where they were at, and I could see it because I had binoculars.
Right.
And I would recommend getting some Bushnell binoculars. It's great. And so I was looking at it, and it was just lined up, and then 2 of them, or one or two of them, just went towards Mulholland area, Mulholland Highway. You know, the Mulholland.
Yep, up in the mountains. Yep.
Yeah, up the mountains, and then two of them the other way, and then one. It's unbelievable. And the whole time I was just witnessing it. It was what a show. And I didn't know who to contact or anything. I didn't know about MUFON or your show, and I'm just thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. Pretty fascinating and a great phone call, and I thank you for that. That part of the valley that Pat is referring to. Okay, you have to picture an east-west. Like an oval, right? And, 10 miles tall, maybe 40 or 50 miles long. That's the valley. And on all the sides are mountains, right? And that's why they call it the valley. And that's where we are. Now, over all the way on the east end, and it's perfectly east-west, right? It's not at an angle. It's this, it's the valley. So over on the east side of the valley, all the way butted up, there's a ring of mountains right there. That's where Burbank is, where we are. Right above us to the north is his town. It's called Sun Valley, and they touch, by the way. Burbank and Sun Valley touch, and it's right up, butted up against the mountains there. Sun Valley is up on the hill a little bit, and it's got its own neighborhood and stores and things up there. It's another. It's a small town, but anyway, butted up against the mountains. The 405, 170, 101 that he's referring to. We have 3 or 4 freeways that run through the valley, and they all intersect at one point. The 405, the 101, and the 170, maybe a couple of miles apart, but they all feed different parts of Los Angeles. But what's interesting about that comment is it's one of the most populated areas in Los Angeles. 1, 2, one of the most heavy traffic areas. The 101 and the 405, that intersection is, I think it's like Guinness Book of World Records, man. It's the most congested freeway like in the world, right there. That one, it's insane. So for that stuff to be during the daytime above that part of the freeway, this is a very interesting observation. It's a very, 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 very cool sighting. I'm surprised that the news, you know what, before he hung up, I forgot to ask him how long they were up there for. But if he was seeing them with binoculars above the valley, above that part of the freeway, you need to understand that is a busy, busy intersection. Great sighting. Thank you for the phone call, Pat. And, contact MUFON, contact New Fork, and report those sightings when they come in. You know the dates. You should always report that now. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
Hello?
Yes.
I don't know. Are you talking to Susie?
Yes, you are live.
Okay. Hi. So I wanted to bring up an interview that you had with Carrie Cassidy, certain topic that you spoke of.
Okay. When was that?
Well, I'm guessing it would probably be back in 2014 or 2015.
Yeah, it was a long time
we
ago.
had one interview with her. But it's a topic that I'll ask you. What I would like you to do is to share your part of it, and then I wanted to feed off of it. But it's regarding the reason why you sleep with lights on. And maybe you don't know what I'm referring to, but if you don't, then it has to do with sleep paralysis and a certain experience that you had.
Okay. Okay, continue. Yeah, continue. It's okay. What's your name?
Oh, my name's Susie.
Okay, Susie. Okay, so it's about. I mean, I've had that conversation many times. I didn't have it just with Carrie.
Oh,
okay, but
well, that was when I heard you speak of it, and I had a similar experience in that. So when I heard you speak of it, that actually I always dismissed it as a dream or a nightmare.
Right. Keep going, Susie.
No, I wanted you to share it. But
you want me to share my story? I want to hear yours. Yeah. Everybody's heard mine a million times. I want to hear about what happened with you.
I will share mine then, and then maybe other people might have experienced mine. But I will kind of recap yours because you were in bed and you couldn't move and you saw someone, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so I had woken up from sleeping, and it was in the morning. And my mother, I was a teenager. Do you mind that I'm sharing this? Are you interested?
No, I want to hear. I want to hear it all.
Okay, all right. I don't want to be uninterested. So I had woken up in the morning, and it must have been a day off of school or a weekend. My mother left, and I went up and I used the restroom, my bathroom, and then I went into her room. That was already made, and I was like, I'm just going to lay here. And as I lay there, and I thought that I fell asleep, I realized that my body, like I couldn't move. And then I looked out of the corner of my eye, and I saw a person, and I felt like it was, I don't know, I felt like it was a male. But he had wide eyes and pale. I don't recall hair. And I was so scared. As soon as I tried to move, and this is what was different from my experiences, when I tried to move, the muscles that run parallel along your spine, I think they're called your erectors, they, like in the center, went into a complete curled spasm, and it was one of the most worst pains I had ever felt. And so I couldn't move, and I couldn't scream. And then I heard my sister, who was sleeping in the room, get up and use the restroom, and I decided I'll save all my strength to try to scream when she went past. And I tried, and the same thing happened, the spasms. And finally, I decided to start moving fingers, and I realized I could without the spasms in the back. And I looked, and that person wasn't there anymore, and that was it. And I was so scared. My heart was racing, and I thought, was this real? Of course, you want to dismiss it as a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And my justification was I asked my sister if she went to the bathroom, and she said she was still sleeping in her bed, and she said she didn't. So I dismissed it as a dream, but then, I don't know, like after listening to your experience that you had. So that's my story. It's a little mystery that I have, and I thought it would be neat to share.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Susie. But let me ask you this. How long do you think this lasted for?
Well, when those experiences happen, you feel like they last forever. I don't know. But one thing that I did think is that, maybe I'm lost of words to articulate what I wanted to say, but maybe there was a time lapse or, whatever did occur.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it lasted for about 15 minutes. I was awake for that. It wasn't like I was looking at a clock or anything, but it lasted for about 15 minutes. And one thing is for sure that I don't know if there was a noise or something that made me wake up, but we all wake up in the middle of the night. Maybe your dog makes some noise. Maybe there's a siren outside, or something that wakes you up in the middle of the night. Well, that my eyes popped open, and I felt like the reason why I woke up was there was somebody in my room. And that's why I woke up, and my eyes popped open, and from that point forward, because of the adrenaline, because I lived alone at the time, the adrenaline pop, I was wide bleeping awake, right? I was not in a fog. I was not, am I dreaming? No, I was wide awake. And the thing that was very bizarre, for all of this is next to my bed in the bedroom to the right is a set of sliding glass doors that go out to a balcony in the bedroom. And those blinds that hang in front of, the horizontal, whatever's, goes up and down, those blinds were open. And so the moonlight and the starlight from outside, maybe even street lights, is coming in, and the room it's not dark. You can see everything in the room. It's not like it's daylight, but I can see everything in the room. So anyway, next to the sliding glass doors at the back side in the corner of the room, I have a stereo speaker there on a stand, and standing in front of it, in between the sliding glass door and the speaker, is this dude standing there. And that's what happened. There's nothing more to the story than that. I don't have any other things to say other than that's exact. And I was looking at him. And
you couldn't move, right?
I could not move. I don't know if I couldn't move because I was completely freaked out of my mind. I don't know what the deal was with that. All I know is I could move my eyes around, but I couldn't pick up my head, and I'm sleeping on my back, but my head was propped up on the pillow. So I'm looking at the guy, right? And it was a very, very, very scary thing. It only happened that one time. It's never happened again. It's never repeated. I had a couple of strange thoughts go through my mind at that point. One of them, which was really weird, I don't know if I had it at that during or maybe immediately after, but the one thing that I thought of was, if that was like an alien dude, that means, was there a flying saucer above my condominium in the middle of this town, of Sherman Oaks, right? It's a city in Los Angeles. And that always was on the back of my mind, to think that there was maybe a craft outside. I don't know. But there you go. It was, I never saw his feet. I didn't see anything below the waist because, I was lying on my back, and the way the bed was, I only saw him from the waist up. But so anyway, how it ended, for everybody that's heard the story a million times, maybe they haven't, but I wanted to fight this guy. Like, I was ready for some ass kicking. I was like angry, and suddenly I I was able to move, and I jumped to my left, and I turned on the light on my nightstand to my left, and I spun around, and he was gone. And that's it. And I ran through the house to see if he was there. I turned on all the lights. I turned on the TV sets. I turned on everything, and I was freaked out. I've told everybody. I mean, for years and years and years and years after that, I slept with the lights on and the TV on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it never happened again. It only happened that one time. And I can't explain it. There's nothing more to it than that. I the only thing that he ever did, I'm saying he, I don't know if it's a he or a she, but he blinked. You know, he blinked a bunch. So
that's freaky.
Yeah, there you go. But you see, this is the thing. When you call up and share this experience with me, it lets me know, me personally, that I'm not crazy. That's the first part. The second thing is, remember that other people are listening to you and your account of it, and they now know that it's okay to share this experience. If not with me live on the show, maybe with somebody else, or a wife or a husband, or a family member or a friend, to share the experience. You just don't know who else is having this very same thing. I still can't explain it.
That's what I'm hoping for, so we'll see.
Yeah, thank you so much. And don't be a stranger, okay?
Okay, I'll come back and I'll have more of a voice.
There you go. Thank you, Susie.
Good night.
And have a great night. What a great phone call. And it just reaffirms with me. That's what it does, is that she said something that I found fascinating, was her back tightening up. That's pretty fascinating. I didn't have that happen. I was completely motionless, lying on my back. I didn't have any muscle spasms or anything like that happen. But yeah, the blinking contest. It was like the showdown at the OK Corral. Yeah, I felt really negative about it. I did not. That was not a positive experience at all. All right, I got time for one more phone call here before the break. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Brother James, it's Libertas, my friend. How are you?
Libertas! Wow, man, how are you?
If I were any better, I'd be co-hosting Fade to Black, or at least guest hosting when you go off on a soiree.
Well, there you go. Well, you're doing it now, my friend. You're doing it now. It's been a while since I've heard your voice. What's new in your world?
Well, I got a few little clips for you. I cut out a paragraph of some information in a paper regarding cannabis. It's a whole paragraph. I think you'll find it humorous. Can I read it quickly?
Sure. We've got about 3 minutes. Can you do it?
I think I can.
Okay, go.
The title is Make Up Your Mind, Feds. On August 11th, the federal government's Drug Enforcement Agency famously refused to soften the regulations of marijuana, leaving it with heroin as a harsh Schedule I drug, because citing Drug Administration findings, it has no medical use. However, as the Daily Caller pointed out, another federal agency, the Department of Health and Human Services, obtained a U.S. patent in 2003 for marijuana-derived cannabinoids, which HHS pointed out have several medical uses as an antioxidant and for limiting neurological damage following strokes. I thought you'd get a bang out of that.
That's it? That's it?
That's the paragraph, my friend.
You know what's funny? With all of the progress that has been made with cannabis, with pot, with Mary Jane, marijuana, all of the progress that has been made, the thought of somebody manhandling this and the feds wrestling control and rolling back all of the progress, I can tell you this, all of those nice, calm, cool, collected, potheads across the country are going to be pretty damn pissed off. And you just can't do that. And it will even those that aren't or that aren't used, that don't smoke weed. And it's not the recreational side of it is part of it, but the medicinal side and the medical uses are a whole nother aspect to this.
Certainly. And
you don't have to be a user for it medically. You don't have to be a user of it recreationally. All you have to do is be somebody that is about law, freedom, and what this country is based on. And if laws have been written and the people have spoken, then that's the way it is. You cannot use the power of the government or the power of the pen to go backwards on what the public wants. You want outcry.
Sessions.
Oh man, you really want to piss some people off. Go and do something like that. Go against the will of the people, and Washington will find out really, really quickly who's actually in power. I'm telling you right now.
There you go.
So okay, we got one more minute.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said we got one more minute. You had a couple of points. What's the next one?
Well, no, I was going to ask you if you read about the flatworm space experiments.
The flatworm? No, I don't know about this.
A flatworm is literally flat, and if you cut it in half, it will regenerate a tail on the end that the head's on, and it'll regenerate a head on the other end.
Right.
So they cut some in. They send some up in space, and they cut the head and tail off. And other ones they cut in half. But anyways, the ones that they cut the head and tail off regrew 2 heads in space.
Oh, really?
So when they came back down, they were up in the space shuttle, or whatever you want to call it, for a few weeks. They then cut them in half again, the one with 2 heads, and only the heads would grow back. So each half had 2 heads, and
with no body. 2 heads with no body.
It had a body, but it had a head on each end instead of a head and tail.
Right.
Where the ones on Earth, if they cut them, they'd regrow a tail or a head. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I've got to go to a break here, but I always thought that I don't know why I thought that there were 2-headed versions of the nastiest thing in the world, which is a flatworm. Those things are gross, man.
I don't know, man. Hey, and I know you got to go quick, but did you hear what Putin said about Snowden?
Yeah, I was going to comment about that, about giving Comey sanctuary over in Russia.
It wasn't just that, but he said that it looks weird when the chief of a security agency records the conversation he had with the commander-in-chief and then hands it over to a media via a friend. He said, "What's the difference between the FBI director and Mr. Snowden?"
Yeah, that's right. It was a very interesting comment. Putin does that, and thank you, Libertas. Thank you. Okay. Putin does those press briefings in front of an audience with that glass desk. It's pretty impressive. Thank you for the phone call, my friend.
See you, brother.
Talk to you. Now. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn
it. This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Yeah, man, Fade to Black. Fadernight open lines, 323-825-5045. Can't get through on that line, use 323-275-9695. And there you go. The one of the things that I wanted to touch upon also about us here at Fade to Black and our community and ufology is that, and with all of the phone calls tonight, are examples of that, which is this. We here at Fade to Black, we try to balance, we try to create the balance between ufology, consciousness, awareness, because all of that balance, that thing, it teaches that the skills to recognize what's important and what isn't. You know, and that's the other thing here. And with this family that we have built, with this family we have built, it is just so cool, so fun, so honest, and so open. And I wanted to, not only to share that thought with you, but we do have these Fadernight gatherings, right? That we do, and the only reason why that stuff is able to happen in such a cool way and an open way is the family that we have built here, right? And we get together, and we get together every single night here on the show in a virtual world, right? But then we do the get together where we're together face to face, and I can kick back and watch, and everybody talking about life and friends and things. So I'll be sitting there, and somebody will come up and sit down and say, and it's really funny when this happens, they'll go, "So, man, did you hear so-and-so? Did you see, and my answer almost nearly 100% of the time is no, right? No, I haven't seen it. And I know that for a lot of you, you may think that I'm exposed to everything, and I know that's simply not true. I use that discernment, right? I don't know what's going on out there, certainly at the micro level. I'll hear things, people will say things to me, but as far as me going out and seeing or reading a lot of the stuff, I don't. You guys collect that information. But I think that
a lot of you are very, very surprised when you expect me to be knowledgeable of the soap opera or the drama. I simply am not. And if I ever spread light on you or expose you to something that is something that needs to be shared as far as what you do with yourself, is just that. I do practice what I preach. You would be surprised how little I actually do know when it comes to the soap opera and the drama. Very, very, very little of it. I just don't do it. I just got sent the Flatworm Returns from Space with Two Heads story right here. And I just want to see the pic. Yeah. Oh man, flatworms are nasty. Man, flatworms are the creepiest things ever. And here it is. I'm looking at the picture right here. Double-headed worm from space right there. Okay. Man, talk about something. See, that's why I don't click on links, because that right there is now burned. Thank you, Renee. That is now burned in my retinas forever. All right, I've had people on hold here for too long. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, who's this? You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Give it to me one more time. Who's calling? All right. That call dropped. Are you there? Okay.
Hi, Jimmy.
Okay. You are there. Okay.
Yeah, this is Jeanette.
How are you?
I'm great.
So what's on your mind tonight, Jeanette?
I think somehow we got the other caller crossed with me, and we were kind of talking at the same time.
Oh. Okay, there you go. That happens too as well. I've got a bunch of calls on hold, and sometimes that can happen. But okay, what's on your mind, Jeanette?
I wanted to explain. I posted a really weird synchronicity on your Twitter earlier. So what happened is my husband at his work, he's a supervisor. And he had to kind of bark at a kid yesterday or day before yesterday. And he had to tell him basically to do his job. Well, the guy broke down and almost started crying. And he's like, what the heck? So he found out what was going on with the guy. He had got his first paycheck from the work. And he had spent the whole thing on getting a motel room for him and his fiancée and the kids. And they bought a motel room for the month.
Right.
Well, he didn't know that. So, and he barked at the guy, and the guy went off somewhere and broke down and started crying.
Right.
Well, obviously, he felt like an ass.
Right.
So he comes home and he's telling me the story, and he's almost in tears, and he's telling me that I had no idea. I didn't know what was going on, blah, blah, blah. So he felt really bad. And so the next day he said he was to the point where he thought the kid might not make it through the next day because he was sleeping on the sidewalk in front of some kind of business.
Right.
And he said, oh, it was so cold, and it was just broke his heartstrings. And he said, man, I hope I did not push that kid over the edge.
Right.
So he went back. He goes, I hope he comes into work the next day. And he did. He was there the next day, and he was tired. He didn't get no sleep. And so what my husband did was went around to all the employees of the company and got donations for any money they could put in and went and bought him a motel room for 2 nights. And also, I sent some warm clothing in for the guy.
Right,
because he was sleeping on the street and he was cold.
Right.
So we got some extra clothes, sent him into the guy, and I guess the next day when they gave it to him, he almost was in tears just because of the clothing. He had like nothing, no family, no food, no clothes, no place to sleep.
Right. And that see, the thing is when you do something like that, not only will it come back to you tenfold, because it will. That's the way the universe works. That's the first thing. But the second thing is you do that without because you're not going to get paid back. You're not doing it for that. You're not doing it because somebody's going to pat you on the back. You do it because it's the right thing to do, period.
Yeah.
And Rita will tell you. You can ask Rita. If we have this story one time, we have it 50 times. Literally. I cannot help myself when I am presented with situations like that. I'll tell you a story. I'll give you the short version. Rita and we pull up to a gas station to put gas in the car. Okay? And it's probably 10 o'clock at night. And this guy, I go in, Rita's sitting in the car. And I go into the little mini mart thing, right? I go in. And there's a guy in there. He pulls up on a bike that not a new, a bicycle, a beat down bicycle. He pulls up, and he's physically challenged. Okay, all right. He's got some things going on. He's difficulty walking and talking and stuff. And he comes in and I'm in there, not only filling up the gas tank to a new car, right? There's that aspect, but I'm also buying stuff. And I look over and this guy's got a handful of change and he's trying to buy something. And I forget what it was, but it was like a bag of chips. It was like 50 cents or $1. And he didn't have that much money on him. And I'm looking at him and I said, you know what? Buy whatever you want in this store right now. Right now, whatever you want, whatever it is. And he looks at me, he's like, what? And I said, what do you want? And I grabbed him by his arm and I pointed at the refrigerators, right? The glass door. What do you want right now? And he pointed at something and I pulled out like 4, right? Whatever it was. And I put it on the counter. 4 bottles of Coke or chocolate milk, whatever it was, doesn't matter. And I said, what else do you want? And he looks at me and he starts to cry. I said, what do you want? And he points at a bag of chips. I grabbed 4 bags of chips and I put it on the counter. I said, what else do you want? Whatever you want. Points at some sandwiches. I grabbed a handful of sandwiches, everything that was there. And I put it on the counter. I said, what else do you want? And he pointed at some Reese's peanut butter cups. And I grabbed a handful and I put it on the counter. And the guy behind the counter goes, are you out of your mind? I said, no. And pay for this stuff right now. I said, bag it up, pay for it. And it's 2 bags full of groceries. And this guy, he's on a bike. And we walk out and he gets on the bike and he can barely walk, right? He's disabled. But he gets on the bike holding these 2 bags of groceries and he pedals away with tears pouring off of his face. And I walked up to the car and Rita goes, you didn't. I said, I did. And that I just, that needs to happen to people sometimes because they think that people just don't care. That people just don't care. And you should care. You should. And that's it. If things like that, life has a funny way of of just working itself out. And if there's a bright spot in that guy's day, I hope he drove home wherever he was, walked in, and got his sugar fix on, man. Because, I hope he ate the life out of those sandwiches. Maybe shared them with somebody. But, that's it. Life needs to be like that. It really, really, really does. It really does. I've got 50 stories just like I do it all the time. I do it all the time. And I especially do it when I'm alone. I just enjoy it. So
yeah, that's what's so cool is there's a kicker to the story though.
Oh, you've got a closer? Okay, close it.
Oh yeah. So when he went in yesterday and bought 2 motel nights for the guy because he felt bad. He'd bark at him, so I feel like a total jerk, to put it lightly. So he goes, man. So he went in and got him a couple nights in the motel room, let him go get cleaned up, get out of the rain. It's been actually coincidence. It's been raining here for the last 2 nights. So, and then he went in today, and my husband has not liked his job for a couple of years now. They changed owners and what have you, and he has just absolutely hated it since they changed the owners, and his boss was just a total jerk. Well, he got fed up today and was totally calm and collected and said, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. And his supervisor got mad and said, okay, you're fired, and literally escorted him out of the building. Escorted him to go get his stuff.
What?
Out of the building. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. He didn't like his job anyway, so was just like...
man. Wow,
so
that's
weird.
Yeah. Well, are you happy? Is he happy?
Yes. We're both absolutely happy. So instead of him putting his 2 weeks notice and potentially having to go get another job and stuff, they fired him.
Yeah, so that means you get unemployment.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. There's always this. That's why if you think about it, that's why he yelled at the kid. That's why he got the 2 hotel rooms and the payback. That's the way the universe works.
It was just like so synchronistic. It's like he felt so bad for yelling at the kid, and if he didn't yell at the kid, he would never bought him a couple nights in the motel room.
Right.
And if he didn't do that, then the boss wouldn't have yelled at him, and it's like one right after another. Bam, bam, bam.
Jeanette, you're the very best. What's your husband's name?
His name's Mike.
Tell Mike I said yo.
Yeah, right? It's awesome.
Jeanette, behave, and tell us, next week, call in and tell us about your husband's new job, all right?
Yeah, we'll see about that. I think he's going to take a vacation for a couple of weeks.
Jeanette, behave. Thank you for the phone call. It's a great story.
Hey, so just real quick, for all the faders, go back Lee Tempe.
Yeah, go back Lee Tempe. Thank you, Jeanette.
Good night.
Good night. What a great story. What a great story. Let's go back to the phones. I think I know who this guy is. Welcome to Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, Mr. Jimmy Church.
That's what I'm talking about. Steve from Bluefield, everybody. Where have you been, man?
Brother, I've been listening. I listen every night. Sit on the couch and listen.
That's what I'm talking about. How are you? How's the family? How's your world?
Everybody's doing great, brother.
That's what
the coal industry has completely done about face since Trump was elected, and so everything's good, brother.
Yeah, you guys. Who would have thought a bunch of black rock would turn things around, right?
Jimmy, and I really believe after, seeing, firsthand how bad the industry was and how fast it turned around. The coal industry has been notoriously known for peaks and valleys, Jimmy.
Yes,
up and down. It's
no doubt.
Boom or bust.
No doubt.
And it was like people already knew, or the people in power already knew, that Trump was going to win the presidency. Because you would think that it would take weeks, if not months, before the industry would turn around after Trump was elected.
Right.
And it actually turned around 2 or 3 weeks before the election. It didn't happen after the election. It happened several weeks before the election.
You think it was the vibe that they knew it was going to happen, so the mood changed and it was a synergistic kind of change, that because they knew that it was going to happen?
Well, I mean, if they did, they need to be playing the stock market every day, because that's one heck of a speculation job.
Yeah, man.
To speculate that's going to happen.
Right. But the mood in your neighborhood is, in your part of the country, is pretty positive right now.
It just, went from, darkness to sunlight, from a negative attitude to a completely positive attitude.
Right.
There's still a lot of issues that we have here in this part of the country with, with not just the coal industry, but with jobs and just, a lot, same issues that, other parts of the country. I'm not saying that that's just to the West Virginia, southwestern, eastern Kentucky, and southeastern Ohio region of the country. It's all across the country.
Right.
We all have, they all have the same issues. We need jobs. We need better jobs. We need, better paying jobs. And we need to really fix the infrastructure of this country. That was, I voted for Trump. And the one thing that sold me on Trump was not that he was going to try to bring back the coal industry, but that he was going to try to do something for the infrastructure of this country.
Right.
And that's what this country needs more than anything, is to fix itself. But you're a well-traveled individual, Jimmy, as am I, and until you get to go outside of the U.S., and especially to other countries that are wealthy enough to do it, we live in it's not a third world country, but we've got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to our airports, transportation issues, and we just got to do a better job, of it, and I think that was, that will play a big part into, how this country moves on in the future.
Well, what's interesting for me is I don't know how we got off track. I don't know how we did this, but certainly from 1900 to 1945, we were on the pretty big industrial boom and building things and steel and cars and the industry, and things were just booming all the way across the country. But then after World War II, where we went on this interstate highway building boom, we were building elementary schools and junior high schools and high schools brand new all the way across the country, and brand new airports. And you could see, if you go around and you go to all of these neighborhoods that I grew up in across the country, you just go and look, you'll see an elementary school with that in the neighborhood with that look, that 50s kitsch design, right? Okay, right. Great. And you see, we did that. We went across this country, we built everything fresh, shiny, new brand new roads, brand new freeways, man, 75 miles an hour with the station wagon with 8 kids in it, without seat belts, driving across the country without a blip in the road, smooth as glass, right? Everything new and shiny. Now, you go around and nothing has been replaced. Nothing has been upgraded. It's the same airports that have been sitting there for 75 years, the same highway system that's been there for 75 years, the schools that were built in 1950. This is 2017. Tear that sucker down and build a new one and redo somehow, somewhere, we got off track, Steve. We got off track. We forgot about it.
We got way off track.
Off track.
Just a little bit. We got way off track.
Way off track. Unless the bridge was built in the last 5 years, probably that bridge is 50 years old. Every bridge, not one or two, every bridge across every river, across every lake in this country is old. And it's all got to get redone. At one point, I get that. It was new 100 years ago. It was new 70 years ago. But everything here has got to be replaced and rebuilt. And it wouldn't be that much work. It wouldn't be that much money, not compared to what we spend on crap. We could do it all in 1 year. We could do it in 1 year. 1 year. 1 year of money. If you think about it, take a trip.
And we can put a lot of people back to work.
That's exactly that's what made this country so great in the first place, is everybody in this country was building something and working. And it's not just construction workers. It's not just engineers. It's the infrastructure that goes with that. They need to be fed. They need to live somewhere. Right. They need to, they turn around and buy cars and buy furniture, and everything feeds itself. Right?
For every job that you create, you're going to create 2 to 3 supporting jobs.
That's exactly how it works. And how we got off track of that, how we got so sideways, I don't know, man, but you're right. We didn't just get off track,
man. I need to post a picture of this bridge, Jimmy, that we have here in Bluefield. They started building the what was called back then the Coal Express Highway, and it was supposed to run from Logan, West Virginia to Bluefield, West Virginia, and Bluefield, Virginia. And they started on separate ends, in Logan and in Bluefield, and were going to work toward each other. And they were supposed to meet up somewhere in the area of Man, West Virginia. And they started on the Logan side first and made quite a bit of progress, 15 or 20 miles, something like that. And they started on the Bluefield side. Well, they got about a mile, and they had to build a bridge. And they spent $55 million building this bridge, Jimmy. And at the end of the bridge is nothing but a sheer mountain face.
Say what? Wait.
I want to take a picture of it and tweet it.
Hold on.
Or email it to you.
Hey, Steve, stay right there, man. I got to take a break. So let's do that. I'm going to put you on hold. You're going to have to sit through this because I got to hear the second half of this story. That is just so cool. So just stay right there. This is Fade to Black. We got Steve from Bluefield here. When Steve is here, he gets to run the show. That's the beauty of Fadernight and Steve from Bluefield. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. It's Fadernight. I'll be right back.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheTea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheTea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to jimmychurchradio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at jimmychurchradio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fadernight, 323-825-5045, 323-275-9695. Taking your phone calls all night long. Right now we got the famous Steve from Bluefield. And Steve, I just posted up in Twitter the Bluefield Bridge to Nowhere. Right now, I looked it up, and it's famous, man. There are tons of it is all over the internet, and it's literally called the Bluefield, West Virginia Bridge to Nowhere. And if you want, it's
you can look at it really good through Google Earth and just see. I mean, it's actually two bridges.
Yes.
Side by side. It's not just one bridge. And it's.
This is a crazy.
It's a big bridge.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Now tell us. I'm gonna. I got another great image here. I got to post this up. This one's even better than the other one. No. It's. And then there's the sign, Christine West Bridge. That's what they call it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to post this picture too. This is hilarious. Okay.
So $55 million. Go ahead. Continue the story.
So, they spent that, the estimates were $55 million that they spent, but, who knows what they really spent. But, this road was supposed to connect, the Coal Express Highway was supposed to connect Bluefield with Logan and put a 4-lane divided highway from Bluefield to Logan. And because right now, as it stands, Jimmy, it takes me about 2.5 hours to drive a 90-mile section of Route 52 to get from Bluefield to Logan. And on a 4-way divided highway, you can do that in just a little bit over an hour. And it would help the economic, not only that, just the economic boost that it would provide to the communities to have an interstate highway that would cut off over an hour of drive time. It's just crazy to me, when you look at it, how much money is being spent for stuff that it's just a waste.
Now, who is the
that's something that needs to be fixed?
Yeah,
needs to be addressed.
Who is the brainiac engineer that that designed this thing going right into the side of the mountain? And as they're building it, I mean, who? There's some explaining to do here. What are they saying about this now? Certainly, there must have been some outrage.
This bridge has been built now, Jimmy, for 7 years, 7 years. It's been finished. Been finished, and they haven't even. They cut some of the mountain face. They cut the trees off a part of the mountain face.
Yes, I see that. To
cut through the small mountain. That's a hill. That's not a mountain. That's just a small hill there.
Right.
And to cut through it. And it was supposed to, link up somewhere around a little south of Man, West Virginia, or around Uno, West Virginia. And it would drastically help the economy of both areas. Because as it stands, you either got to go down 52, which takes you 2.5 hours. That's if you don't get behind any coal trucks on a good day. You can almost drive to Charleston, West Virginia, and come back down 119 to Logan as fast as you can go down 52, and that's all 4-lane divided highway, and that's around 150 miles.
Holy crap!
And you can do it in roughly about the same amount of time. But that just shows you, how wasteful we are, and because the funding was supposed to come from the federal government. The state of West Virginia put up a big portion of it, but then the state of West Virginia was, because this was a big thing for all the politicians, 10 years ago, was that to get this road built, it had been discussed for 10 years before they even started needing this road put in, and all these politicians jumped on the bandwagon to build the Coal Express Highway.
Now, somebody's got some explaining to do. What are they saying now is going on? Are they going to complete it? Are they going to build a road on the other side? Is this going to get done, or is this just $55 million wasted, and this will never have cars go across it?
It'll be needing repairs on it, even though there's never been the first, official traffic. I've drove across it several times, just, to look at it. But it'll need, work done to it because there's no maintenance being performed. But there's if the one picture that you posted there, I'll take another picture of it from the bridge this weekend.
Right.
But there's a big sign right before you get to the bridge, that it says state funds expenditures and then federal government expenditures, and it comes to just a little over $55 million. And then there's at the bottom, people have been putting signs up, get the federal government to release the money, because the federal government was supposed to provide, I think it was right around 50% of from the Bureau of Transportation or whatever controls that in the federal government. It was supposed to be like a 50-50 split between the state of West Virginia and the federal government. Well, the federal government never come through on it. And then the coal industry, flopped. So the state of West Virginia couldn't afford to do it all, with no more coal not no more, but the significant amount of coal was not being mined in the state of West Virginia to afford to put it in.
Right.
I mean, this was like a several billion-dollar project.
These are unbelievable images, and it makes you wonder, though, Steve, if this is going on, how many more bridges to nowhere like this are across the country? Right.
That's what I'm thinking. How many more times has this been done
in
Oklahoma or in California?
Right.
That this has been done.
Right.
I had a good friend of mine that owned a coal mine that he got lucky and sold out before the bottom fell out of it this last time. And him and his wife just drove, I think he told me, right around 14,000 miles, and he left Bluefield and drove all the way out to California, went down through Arkansas, Texas, Arizona, into California, and the entire length of the state of California, up through Washington and Oregon and stuff, and then back down through Utah and Colorado and Kansas. I went all the way back home. And right at 5 weeks that he spent out on the road, and they stopped at Lake Tahoe. I think they spent three or 4 days, and he has pictures of him, Jimmy, standing, and I didn't realize that there was that much snowfall at the Lake Tahoe area.
Right.
And he was standing beside I think it was like a 16-foot tall snowbank.
Oh yeah, there's real snow in Tahoe, dude. Real snow.
Yeah. But the people there were really happy, I guess, because of the amount of snowfall that they got, because Lake Tahoe had been, down significantly from the drought in California. But how much water does Los Angeles get from Lake Tahoe? I mean, do they get any water from that?
Well, all of our water, I mean, all of it comes from the Sierra Nevada mountains, and the runoff that happens each spring when the snow melts. And we have a huge concrete aqueduct system that feeds into Los Angeles. Mulholland built it. Okay, you've heard you've heard about Mulholland Falls or Mulholland Highway. Mulholland was one of the biggest. I don't want to call him a crook.
He was a visionary, though.
He was a visionary, but he was also a shyster. He was a crook,
Shyster, that's right.
He bought.
There was a lot of money made off that.
Well, he designed the aqueducts, right, and to solve the water problem here in Southern California. But he bought all of the land that the aqueducts were that he designed would be built on. So they had to turn around and lease and buy the land back from him. But he did the design, so they were kind of screwed. They had to go with what he's a brilliant engineer. And so he ended up becoming a very, very rich man when he solved. Look, any Mulholland family members out there, don't sue me. Just go and watch the movie Chinatown, and it'll explain everything with Jack Nicholson. All right. Hey, Steve, I got to get to some more phone calls, my brother, and take those pictures and send them in to us.
I'll send them to you, brother.
I'm going to look into this a bit further. That's a fascinating, fascinating story. Thank you so much, my friend.
Jimmy, as always, brother, thanks for the time.
That's what I'm talking about. Steve from Bluefield. Thank you, Steve. Co-host of the show, of course. too, as well. I've got time for a couple of more phone calls before we call it a night. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, Casper.
Hey, Casper, how are you?
I got a quick rock and roll infrastructure highway story for you.
Okay, what is it?
All right, okay. Back in the 80s, I was spending some time with Leon Wilson from Skinner, the bassist. He passed away, I think it was in June, for the anniversary. At any rate, in the song, Sweet Home Alabama, when they sing the lyric, in Birmingham, they love the governor.
Right.
Okay. George Wallace was governor at the time, and the federal government was paying for the 65 to be built, but the states had to pay for the bypasses. And George Wallace, and he refused to pay for the bypass around Birmingham. So the 65 dead ends right into Birmingham. So everybody going south toward, southern Alabama, Florida and all that, everybody got off the freeway in Birmingham. And, of course, they spent money. That's why in traffic lineup. But that's where the lyric, Sweet Home Alabama, comes from. In Birmingham, everyone loves the governor because they didn't get the bypass. Everybody got off the freeway.
I never knew that.
I got that from Leon. Also, Three Steps Mister was another story I heard, but we'll say that another time.
Oh, man, thank you for that. And you just reminded, Casper, thank you for that. And that's a good piece of trivia, and I'm actually going to vet it now, too, as well, because I want to use it for the future. Thank you so much, Casper.
Well, that's what Leon told me, so.
Hey. I totally believe it. I got to look into that. Everybody's always wondered about that. So I'm gonna look into that. So that's a great piece of trivia, Casper. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
All right. Well, I'll let you go to the other calls coming in. Everyone have a good Fader weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. You too, my friend. Be safe out there.
All right. Bye.
Casper Parks, everybody. It just reminded me, and if you're on hold, stay right there. We'll get a couple of more calls in here before we wrap tonight. But here in Southern California, and I'm going to make this really quick, there was this huge project that went on for decades here connecting the 110 freeway back up into Pasadena to have this new route into downtown Los Angeles. And it never finished. The freeway ends. And it never completed. And I remember, I think maybe 2 or 3 months ago, they announced there was a whole bunch of homes that were there that were slated to be, hundreds of homes that were slated to be demolished so the freeway could go through there. I forget what they called them. They had a certain, and the people that lived there were all put on notice that you could be moved out in the next day, right? So the rent was cheap. The houses are beautiful, by the way. But the rent was cheap, and if you lived in one of those houses, you could live there really cheap. But there was always this warning. The freeway would come through here, and the freeway project will complete, and it could happen at any day. Well, and this went on. Forever. And then like 3 months ago, they announced that the project now is officially done and over. They're not going to build the freeways. The houses now, everybody can keep the houses. And some of these are just beautiful, beautiful homes. So we have our own little project like that here in Southern California, in Pasadena, the 110 Harbor Freeway project. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy Church.
Yes.
GG.
Hey, GG, how are you, my friend?
Oh, absolutely fantastic, man. How about yourself?
Hi, man. It's always good to hear your voice. And what is new in your world? How's the family? How's your mom? How's your sister?
Oh, they're great, man. They're great. And yeah, man, they're they had a really good time out there, and they wanted me to thank you personally. So,
oh man, you got the best family ever, man. But you already knew that, so there you go.
Yeah, they're good people, man. They're good people. But you know what? You used one of my favorite terms at the beginning of the show that I never hear anybody say. You said "full tilt boogie," and
I did. Okay,
it's good to know that there's other brethren out there spreading the good terminology. So.
Did I really say that? Okay. I'll take credit for it. Full tilt boogie. Yeah, there you go. So
there you go.
So what else is going on, man?
Well, especially after last night's show, I couldn't help but notice something that I really wanted to point out, and this may or may not be nothing at all, but regarding this whole infiltration of our UFO community, if you will.
Right.
It all seems, something obviously triggered something, right? And you can this basically all seemed, this last 3 weeks or so, it kind of, if it didn't start during, it certainly was around contact in the desert.
Right.
But you know what else happened around that exact time? On the 23rd, I believe it was, is when, even though the documentary premiered a month earlier and it had been available for a little bit, Stephen Greer's documentary, Unacknowledged, became available for rent right around Contact in the Desert. I believe it was on the 23rd. Now, I know that there's, say what you will about that documentary. It's either, and that's one of the many things I forgot to do when I was at Contact in the Desert was I wanted to get your full report and opinion on that documentary. Because, that's either one of the most important documentaries that has come out in our time or not, but I just found it pretty interesting, because before the 23rd, you had to pay like $20 to get the documentary, which I think a lot of people would underestimate how much that $17 difference really prevents a lot of people from getting access to that. But, come the 23rd, all of a sudden, now basically everybody can watch it for $2 or $3. And right after that happens is all of a sudden you see all of this tomfoolery happening in our community. And I never heard anybody bring that up. And as far as a triggering mechanism for what seems to be some sort of sloppy defense mechanism from the other side of the fence, as far as all of this negativity and character assassination, all the stuff that's been going on. I just felt like that's at least worth thinking about as far as perhaps being a trigger for all this stuff.
It's an interesting, the timing. I always look at stuff like that, the timing of it. And I didn't think about Unacknowledged being part of it, but certainly it could be lumped into the timing of everything else. What was surprising? Now, okay, let me answer your first part. What's my opinion of the film? My opinion of the film, and I can give this to you in 15 seconds. The film is not for the students of ufology, because you know everything in this film, you know everything that's going to be presented. There's no new information there. There's pieces, that you may pick up from here and there, but it's not for the fans of ufology that study this. That's, in my opinion, that's not who the film is made for. The film is made for somebody that has never, ever knew anything about ufology. It's like it's ufology, it's UFO 101 primer material. So you get a basic overview of a lot of different aspects of it, and you are giving some evidence, you're giving some eyewitness testimony, you're seeing some video footage and of things that will for somebody that doesn't know anything about it, where they can just go, okay, there's something going on. Here's some good evidence here. Okay, I didn't know about this. Now I can go and look into this a little bit further. And that's who the film is for. As far as a trigger mechanism, I don't know. There's possibility. There's possibility with anything. But the timing for me of all of these little seemingly unrelated little events that happened at the same time that I was made aware of. I didn't go and look into anything specifically or but I thought that the timing was a little bit suspect to have it all happen at the same time. What was really surprising to me is that when I started to make phone calls and started to inquire with different researchers and not only researchers, but just people in the UFO community that I respect, and brought this up to them, most were unaware, completely oblivious to it. And a few did say, well, I heard something about that, but, whatever, I don't let that stuff. And that, for me, Gigi, I stepped back and I thought, why is it that they're not affected by it? And then I took another look at it. And when you really put the pieces of this puzzle together and you start to look at it, I want you to understand this, and the audience too. If you have 1 million people a week that are watching Ancient Aliens, right? And what that accounts to and amounts to how many people in the world that are in the millions that have watched Ancient Aliens, or UFO hunters, or alien files, or UFO, name the show, right? That are out there that have nothing to do with ufology, right? Nothing to do with Contact in the Desert or this show, right? That they have no clue about this little upheaval that happened in the last 3 weeks. That little thing, that little that little tiny blip, that little bubble of whoever is talking smack, right, is absolutely insignificant to the large community that we have that is around the world. They're not affecting anybody or anything, and nobody knows about. Nobody cares. Nobody goes to those forums or that part of YouTube or Facebook or any of that. They're oblivious to it, and that's where I just stepped back and said, it's not that big of a deal. It's just not. It's not. The names of the whatever. There are people out there right now, I guarantee you, that are talking smack about the show last night. They're out there. They're a couple of people, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen or 100. But in the big scope of things, the big picture across the UFO community, that stuff doesn't matter. I don't read it. I don't hear about it. I don't care about it. I don't read it. I don't, and neither does everybody else. Right? And if you do choose to go and do that, think about how it's affecting your mood, your emotions. And that's really the truth. And that's why we will always stay on the positive side of the track, my friend. And you should too. Don't ever tell me that you watched one of those videos or saw a post or went to a forum. It'll be the last vodka shot you do with me.
I'm right there with you.
All right, man, and that's why we love you, Gigi. Good luck on the show. I got to roll out of here, man. It's the end of the night. You can stay right there. You can hear me read credits, all right? I'll have you say good night to everybody at the end. Give everybody a good Gobekli Tepe. All right, Fade to Black's executive. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show's produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar, Faded by Dale, Webmaster Drew the Geek, music Doug Aldridge, intro Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA The Planet. Thank you to Jon Rappoport and everybody that called in tonight. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. We'll see everybody on Monday, but until then, give it to him, GG.
Gobekli Tepe.
Gobekli Tepe. Thank you, GG. Be safe out there.
All right. Cheers, man.